He came from the future. He kills without mercy. He never stops. But what if the Terminator isn't about robots at all? What if it's about horror, about being hunted, alone, and helpless? This isn't just science fiction, it's the perfect slasher, hiding in plain sight. I must have been around 10 years old the first time I saw the Terminator. I still remember the cover. Schwarzenegger in leather jacket, shades, and an AMT hardballer with laser sights, looking like the coolest thing I have ever seen. After watching it, I was hooked. It was like watching something forbidden, and that's the funny thing. At that age, I wasn't allowed to watch any horror films. We just had one TV, one VHS player, no phones, no streaming, no privacy. If someone was watching something, the whole family knew. You couldn't sneak a horror movie without being caught within 5 minutes. But the Terminator slipped through. It wasn't considered horror by my parents, just another stupid action film. So it was okay. They didn't know, and I didn't know, that what I was actually watching was a horror film, a slasher movie in disguise. And I want to be clear, I didn't come up with this idea. Many others have pointed it out before me. But once you start looking at the Terminator from that angle, through the lens of the 1980s B-movie horror, it all starts to click. It's basically Halloween with a robot. It's Friday the 13th with time travel. It's pure slasher DNA. The Terminator is the embodiment of the unstoppable slasher archetype. Like Michael Myers, like Jason Voorhees, he walks, he never runs, and he never speaks more than a few words.
Nice night for a walk.
He's not a real character, he's more like a force. No matter how far you run, he'll always be there when you turn around. His kills are cold, methodical, and emotionless. There's no pleasure, no sadism, which actually makes it somehow worse. It's his job to kill, pure function. And even that makeup work, how he gradually decays over the movie, mirrors the visual language of monster horror. The more his skin peels away, the more he becomes a monster. Cameron's genius was making a sci-fi premise, a robot assassin behave exactly like a classic horror monster, an unstoppable, inhuman predator, hunting the living. Sarah Connor begins the film as a regular young woman, late for work, riding her scooter, feeding her pet iguana, complaining about dates.
Better than mortal man deserves.
She's relatable, vulnerable, completely unaware of the nightmare that's coming. That's the final girl blueprint. Laurie Strode, Nancy Thompson, Sally Hardesty, all ordinary women, forced to face extraordinary horror. By the end, Sarah is transformed. She becomes hardened, capable, determined, the very image of survival. The film even literalizes that transformation. The frightened waitress becomes the mother of humanity's savior.
You're dead, honey.
And that change from victim to survivor is the emotional backbone of every slasher story. It's about innocence destroyed and strength born through trauma. In horror, the only way to survive is to change and learn how to overcome the odds. And the Terminator captures that perfectly. The early scenes lull us into comfort. Sarah goes about her daily life, while somewhere else, a mysterious killer is murdering random women who share her name. Is the perfect slasher setup, the who's next pattern building tension before the final confrontation. I like the phone book sequence. The Terminator doesn't stalk aimlessly. He works through his victims one by one, mechanically, like he's crossing names of a ritual list. And that idea that your name alone can get you killed, it's pretty scary. This structure, calm normal life shattered by chaos and violence, is the classic horror formula. It's not science fiction pacing, it's Halloween pacing. In most slashers, there is an order to the chaos. A killer moving through victims connected by space, or guilt, or bad luck, or whatever. In the Terminator, that logic becomes literal. He's a machine following a programmed kill list. There is no morality or motive, only execution. This algorithmic approach to murder feels modern, even ahead of its time. but emotionally is the same primal fear as Jason or Freddy. Something has decided you're next, and there is nothing you can do to change that.
That Terminator is out there. It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
Even the way the film reveals this logic, the police connecting the pattern after it's too late, it's how the investigations go in every slasher movie. The audience always knows more than the characters, giving each scene a sense of quiet doom. Let's talk about how the film looks. Cameron shoots the Terminator like a horror film. The camera often becomes the killer's eyes, POV shots scanning the environment, just like Michael Myers watching from the shadows. The techno club sequence is the film's beating horror heart. Flashing lights, pounding music, disorientation, and then the moment of silence right before the gunfire. Cameron uses light and sound exactly the way Carpenter uses shadows and silence. And that's what makes it work. The pacing, the dread, the fact that you know what's coming. You can feel the tension in your stomach. That's horror filmmaking, not action choreography. And here's one of my favorite moments in the entire film. The scene where the Terminator patches himself up. It's raw, it's disgusting, and also fascinating. He's operating on himself with total precision, opening his own flesh, removing his damaged eye, repairing torn tissue, and through it all, there is no reaction, no pain, no hesitation, no twitching, just meticulous cutting. A surgeon performing surgery on himself. What makes it so powerful? And it's not about the gore, it's about revelation. Piece by piece, the disguise starts to decay. The human flesh and skin becomes an annoyance. It's rotting. It's not camouflage anymore. It's useless. He keeps fixing what he can, taping the skin, cleaning the wounds, as if trying to maintain the illusion a little longer. But we can see it. The monster is already out. There is no turning back. And what I love most about this scene is how real it feels. You can almost smell it. The T-800s can sweat. And somehow that comes through the screen. The dirty room, the flickering lights, the blood pooling in the sink, the fragments of skin and flesh, it all blends into something so real you can almost sense the stench. It's not just visual horror, it's sensory horror. And even though it's a film about time travel and killer robots, the Terminator looks and feels like a gritty horror film. It was shot guerrilla style on the streets of Los Angeles, fast, cheap, and full of energy. Cameron turns the city into a nightmare, neon lights reflected on wet asphalt, steam rising from the gutters, shadows swallowing alleyways. It's not glossy sci-fi, it's dirty, dark, and alive. That texture, that low-budget roughness, connects it to 1980s exploitation cinema, Maniac, The Prowler, even Basket Case, is the same story, horror by way of indie and dirty filmmaking. And it gives the movie its timeless atmosphere, half future, half nightmare. It's almost impossible to talk about slashers without mentioning the sex equals death trope, the idea that intimacy invites doom. In The Terminator, the one moment of tenderness, Sarah and Kyle, directly precedes Kyle's death, but Cameron flips the meaning. It's symbolic. Their connection gives birth to the future, to John Connor, to hope. It's horror's oldest metaphor, creation and destruction intertwined. In slashers, sex brings death. Here it also brings life. Love literally survives the apocalypse. In true slasher fashion, the people who are supposed to help don't. The police think Sarah's paranoid. They tell her she's safe, they will protect her. Moments later, the station becomes a slaughterhouse. That scene, the police station massacre, is one of the most horrific in any sci-fi movie. Not because of gore, but because of the feeling that civilization itself has failed. The walls that are supposed to keep us safe collapse instantly. The system fails our heroes. Every slasher has that one final scare, the killer who just won't die. You think it's over and then BAM! He's back. In The Terminator, the skin is burned away, revealing the metal skeleton, the monster beneath the man, And even then, it keeps coming, crawling through fire, relentless, unstoppable. That factory finale is pure horror. The rhythmic pounding of the machines, the red emergency lights, the claustrophobic framing is the boiler room from Elm Street Reborn. Sarah's final confrontation with the skeletal Terminator, crushing it in the hydraulic press, is one of the most satisfying final kills in cinema. And of course, in true horror fashion, it's not really the end. He'll be back. So there you have it. The Terminator, a sci-fi classic that, to me, is really a slasher horror in disguise. What do you think? Do you see it the same way, or is there another movie you believe is secretly a horror film underneath its surface? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.